All right, let's begin at the beginning. An introduction to American national government. Now, I've combined introductory materials that I used once upon a time with the slides that I thought pertinent from Chapter 1 of your textbook. So when you get to Chapter 1 and you read through it, you're not going to find dedicated slides because they're here. So, as I think I covered in the syllabus video, everything that's written on the PowerPoint said by me in lecture, which would be these videos for the purposes of this class, written in the book, talked about by a guest lecturer, said by a colleague, whoever, da-da-da-da-da, you get the idea. It's fair game for the quizzes and tests. If you pay attention to what I'm talking about here, what you read in your PowerPoints in the book, and you take notes, you've got absolutely nothing to worry about. You're not going to probably get a video from me for every chapter just because some of them are very obvious, and I don't think they necessitate me coming on and doing something like this. I'll always put the option out there if I don't have a video up for it. If you want one, just send me an email and I'll throw one together. But like Chapter 2, I'm not going to do one. Chapter 4, probably not. So, I mean, that's always on offer. If you want me to make a video, I will, but you're not going to get one for every chapter. And again, make sure my name is spelled correctly. I'm harping on this because it's a big problem, always, and it just causes headaches all around, and let's avoid them. Jonathan. I want to get your questions, your comments, your concerns. I want to address them. I can't do it if you send your note to another email account. So here we go, Chapter 1, American Government and Civic Engagement. So we have the right to vote. We haven't always had the right to vote. We've all had to fight for it. White landowning men started in this country with the right to vote. They did away with the landowning requirement, then African Americans, then women. You know, it took a long time to get to the point where we are today, where everybody has the franchise or the right to vote. So don't take it for granted. So we can participate in government at every level. Civic engagement. Now, if you see a word or a phrase that's bolded, that's highlighted, I've done a bunch in this particular slide deck just to make it painfully obvious. But in the future, if you see something like civic engagement, okay, it's bolded, highlighted, it's probably something that's going to appear on a test or on a quiz at the end of a chapter, just saying. So civic engagement, whether through voting, demonstrating, speaking out on important issues or other means, is vital to a thriving and effective republic. It is. The United States is a republic, and in a republican form of government, it doesn't work if the people do nothing. A government is the system by which a society organizes itself and allocates authority in order to accomplish collective goals, and provide benefits to that society. Can we, as a people, organize and allocate without government? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, private charities, the Catholic Church, maybe. I mean, not government, but they're certainly organizing themselves, providing benefits to society. Maybe not in the same way that the federal government might. But is this specifically in the domain of a government? No. Politics refers to the process of gaining or exercising control within a government by an association of persons with shared goals or objectives for society. And this is the who gets what, when, and how. And that's also a reference to power. Who has the power in Washington, D.C. if our Senator Dick Durbin, who's retiring at the end of his term, can get the people of Illinois money to build a new stadium in Peoria. Let's just, pretend here for a minute. And he can do that, but the senators from Missouri and Indiana didn't have enough clout on the Hill because they have only been there a short time compared to Durbin, who's the minority whip at the moment, which is a leadership position in the Senate. Well, Durbin has the power because he can get us something like a stadium in Peoria where others can't. So politics and power are inextricably linked. Does politics have to do exclusively with government? Absolutely not. Government can exist without politics as such, meaning there don't have to be Democrats, Republicans. There can be independent government. A park district board, for instance, typically is full of independents. They don't, you're not electing a Democratic park district commissioner or a Republican park district commissioner. I got this out of Merriam-Webster. A generic definition of politics, the art or science concerned with guiding or influencing governmental policy. That is the definition you'll see on the exam. So what is this definition about? Like political leanings, your politics disgust me. Policies, just generic here. Republicans only want tax cuts to help their rich donors. Party politics. Frank got 54% of the vote at the convention and became chairman of the Republican Party. Politics, it's a multifaceted word. Politics exists in government. Politics exists in your job. Politics exists in your home life. Politics exists, everywhere. It's a multifaceted word that can be applied to any number of situations in nearly every aspect of society. It can penetrate almost any aspect of life. When I'm in a brick and mortar class, I'll have students raise their hand if they know that they're their parents' favorite child, or if they know that they're the black sheep of their family. Ask them why, and there's always some sort of reason. They did something, or their brother is, worse, or their cousin went to jail, or whatever it is, and that's why they are liked better in their family unit. But any aspect of life, really, we can find politics. So what is American political culture? A system of shared political traditions, customs, beliefs in our institutions specifically, and values. The core principles of American political culture: liberty, the right to be free as long as another's rights are not harmed. I have the right to swing my fist as far as I'd like until somebody else's nose comes into contact with my fist. Then I'm infringing upon that other person's liberty because I'm hitting their nose. Equality. People have the same or similar opportunities to compete and achieve. Equality does not guarantee the same results. That's something that has been a development in recent years. Equality of opportunity is what we're guaranteed in this country. We can all fill out an application to be the manager at the fast food place of your choice. We can all be interviewed, but only one of us can be the manager, right? You can't have 30 managers in the place. That's silly. But we all have the opportunity to fill out an application. We all have the opportunity to be interviewed. That is the American way, equality of opportunity, not equality of result. Here's another example. I mean, people who choose to go to law school usually become richer than those who drop out of high school. There's greater opportunity typically for those with a greater amount of education, typically. There are counterexamples always, like Steve Jobs, former CEO of Apple. I believe he attended some semesters of college, but I don't think he ever got a degree. But yeah, he certainly would serve as a counterexample to this. Democracy, a government run by the people through elected representatives. That's part of our American political culture. So politics function within government, although they are not the same. As I said before, you can have a government without politics. And maybe that'd be better. I don't know. There are some who argue that politics is decisions made in an environment of conflict, while others, including political scientist Harold Lasswell, don't worry, for testing purposes, I'm not going to ask you to remember that name, suggest that politics is who gets what, when, and how, and that's power. Right there, who gets what, when, and how. So they involve, both these definitions involve conflict. Both share the notion that government decisions affect who is impacted and how. So, government and economic systems, governments sometimes, but not always, are linked to particular economic systems. So democracy here, government by citizens, is often associated with capitalism, an economic system in which the means of production are controlled by individuals who invest in business and industry. So government by citizens is often associated with capitalism, an economic system in which the means of production are controlled by individuals who invest in business and industry. Said it twice, must be important. It's another thing to remember when going through this. Socialism advocates public or government control, whether directly or through regulation, over the means of production. Socialized medicine, for example. In Britain, they have the National Health Service, the NHS. Oligarchy is a form of government in which a small class of political and economic elites control the government. Some might argue that the United States is an oligarchy. I truly have no opinion on that. Russia, I would say, is an example of an oligarchy. All right, the U.S., our representative democracy, generally adheres to a capitalist economic system. So private businesses produce and sell most consumer goods and services, earning a profit on these private goods. So you go and from Walmart you buy an iPad. Okay, Walmart gets a cut of that. Well, Walmart would make the profit off of that because they spent, just pulling it from my head, they spent $100 buying the iPad. They want a 25% profit, so they sell it to you for $125. Okay, you buy it for $125 because buying from Walmart is probably cheaper than buying it from Apple. These are private goods. An iPad, a computer, I'm looking at a wallet, on my desk, a pen, private goods. I didn't get these from the government. Some goods or services, such as public safety and education, cannot be produced in sufficient quantities or for a profit. The government provides these public goods. Let's see. Like I said, the National Health Service in England, that's socialized medicine, but that's also a public good. The fire department, another public good, although back in the founding of our nation, that was a private good. That's a story for another day. Government to also protect common goods such as water and other natural resources that are used by individuals but must be protected for the benefit of all. So I'm not going to go through all of this, but I would certainly look at these different types of goods and know the definitions for testing purposes. So, democracy is a form of government in which political power, influence over institutions, leaders, and policies is controlled by the people. Now here's the difference. In a direct democracy, we do it ourselves. Every one of us would have a role in the passage of laws, the enforcement of laws, judging. Some of us might be judges. What we have is a representative democracy in the United States where we vote for people to go to Washington, D.C., representatives, senators, all that, and make these decisions for us in our name. Elitism and pluralism. So within our representative democracy, the elite theory of government holds that a small group of elites controls power while other citizens have little or no influence. So we might certainly have a vote. We might certainly be able to protest. We might be able to go to a rally. We might be able to, whatever it is. But a small cadre of people, let's go back in the old days, William Randolph Hearst, say, and the Roosevelts and the Kennedys. It doesn't matter what we do because the Hearsts, the Roosevelts, and the Kennedys are the only ones that count anyway. They've got their hands on every lever of government that matters, and we can scream and beat our chests as much as we want. Nothing's going to change that those three families don't want to change. So the pluralist theory of government holds that competing interest groups influence the government and hold political power. So there are many interest groups, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the National Rifle Association, the American Israeli PAC, all sorts of groups on every side of every issue conceivable compete for the ear of our representatives and try to influence the government and hold political power.